Shalom, salam, peace. This is Roland, my new video blog, Roland on the Road. And I'm here in Gussow, Eastern Germany, in Brandenburg. We've had a camp with our church, Christus Treff, about 100 people, adults, children, young people. And I'm just coming from the Young People's program that I was normally not a part of. And they asked me to come and speak to them about heaven and hell. Wow. And in the first round, I asked them, I said, tell me what you think about it. And they came up with these very interesting ideas. And after they had shared for like 2 or 3 minutes, I said, you know, a class of philosophy professors would not have been able to say deeper things than what you've just said. And we know, of course, that there is this question, is there a heaven? Is there a hell? What does it mean? What does hell mean? What does heaven mean? Is there a judgment? I remember a few years ago, a Lutheran bishop of our local diocese, he's now gone to heaven, I trust. He said to me on his deathbed, just a few days before he died, he said, you know, Brother Werner, that's what he called me, he said, Brother Werner, I realized that I've not spoken and preached enough about the judgment of God in my life. And he said the same thing on a radio program which he did for the area radio just a few days before he died. He says, we've not spoken enough about judgment. And that is true for at least for the German church, and I think it's true for the West, because we're so much focused on the here and now, and that is good. Of course, we need to focus on the here and now, because that's where our responsibility lies, and we want to strive and work for a better world. We want to strive for justice and reconciliation and peace, and all of that is true. But there's more to it, and that's what the Bible tells us. The Bible tells us that there is such a reality as heaven. There is such a dark anti-reality, let me call it that, as hell, and our lives matter, and our choices matter, and the way that the Bible describes heaven is just in beautiful symbolic words, like in Revelations 21 it says that the New Jerusalem came down from heaven, and there's a new heaven and a new earth, and there's this New Jerusalem, and it's made of pure gold, and the gates are made of these wonderful jewels and these pearls, all these different pearls, and they're always open, and everyone can enter except for that which is impure, and it doesn't need any light because God himself is the light inside. I mean, words that transcend, that totally surpass our understanding. And it's as if John the seer wants to say, just imagine the best you can imagine, and heaven is still more than that. And then what I like about it is that then it says, and the kings of the earth, they bring the beauty and the riches of the different nations into this kingdom, into this New Jerusalem. So on the one hand, it comes down from heaven. It is God's reality coming into time and space, as it were, into this new type of time and space. But then there is this earthly reality, and we shared with the young people, you know, what do you think that the kings of the earth bring into this New Jerusalem? And then we said, well, maybe German engineering, and maybe American fast food, and African dance. And one young guy suggested, he said, well, how about Russian vodka? And I mean, all of these things that we think are really beautiful, if used well, of course, they come into it. And this is, so there's a picture of heaven. And how do we come into heaven? How do we partake in this reality? How can we be part of that? And then it speaks about the book of life. There's two kinds of books. There's these books that are opened, and the books that with our deeds, and you know, and we realize, you know, if we're judged by our deeds, you know, we don't stand very good chances to live in the presence of God forever. But if we trust that there is this other book, the book of life, which is written by God, which is written, I believe, by the blood of the Son of God, by Jesus on the cross, and your name is in it, my name is in it, unless we don't want our names to be in it, unless we decide against it, then we're part of this new reality. And then we spoke about hell just a few minutes, because heaven is so much more important, so we took more time on heaven than we did on hell. But there's also this grim reality. It's the anti-reality. It is the none, it's the nothingness, it is the end, it's the destruction. And where do we want to go? Because we're created in the image of God. That's where we are headed. That's where we want to be. As Augustine, the church father, said, Lord, we have been created to you, towards you, and our hearts will only find rest if we rest in you. Anyway, these are some of my thoughts, and sorry if it was too long. I hope you find this interesting. Visit me again, visit our Roland Werner on the Road blog again, and see you in a few days. Bye.